many
Technically
times.
him. Yeah. So.
Exactly.
So the fan base is pretty much saying that we miss Mike McDaniel.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I think we're always going to miss. I mean, we had this conversation off record about people like Jim Tomsula, who performed well in their position coach role and did not translate well into other roles like head coach. Like I felt like that was a recipe for disaster, and the only other option when that failed was he was going to leave the team. Mike McDaniel leaving to take a head coaching job. I think right now he's having success. Whether that's sustainable or not, we'll see. But I think we are missing Mike. I think he brought a lot to the table for the team, and we miss some of his insight and his genius behind Kyle. And I guess they probably had a very good relationship in terms of drawing up plays or deciding what play to run. So I think people are not wrong about missing Mike McDaniel, especially seeing him have success outside of the organization. But, we can't, I don't think we can dwell on that because this is part of the nature of the league. These kinds of coaches who are good are going to leave. I wouldn't be surprised to see
D'Amico
Ryans get a head coach offer.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're going to continue to have that turnover. It's what happens in the league. So you have to figure out how to grow and expand beyond that and find the right people to plug back in. But yeah, of course, we're going to miss Mike. He was great, as demonstrated now by his success in Miami.
I'm going to say no.
Good for you, Ty. Why?
It was Mike. Listen, I know this is the usual fan base panic. We're going to look for anything.
The overreaction.
It's because exactly. It's because McDaniels isn't here. That's why the play calling is weird. We're not executing. No.
Oh no, I don't think it's that we're not executing. The execution.
But this is part of things people are saying. The creativity isn't there. It's not. No. We've had these problems when he was here.
Yeah, we did.
This regime took over and McDaniels was there. We've always had these problems. So no, because he's gone, the problems, left. No, we've always had these problems, and I watched the Dolphins game on Sunday. They were stinking it up.
Yeah.
That offense wasn't, lighting it up. They were stinking it up.
Sustainable because initially it's a new person, especially in the division. You've got this new head coach, new ideas. It'll be successful for a little bit, and then someone will figure it out. So we'll see if he translates to a head coach. But oftentimes, it's not, necessarily a guarantee that because you're a success in a position coach that you're going to become the next great, the next Bill Belichick or Bill Walsh or whatever. Yeah.
I don't think, we're missing Mike. Remember, this is Kyle's offense. We all know how stubborn Kyle is. I'm sure true. Mike, helped him with some run concept ideas. If we kind of do this or do this, we can take advantage of the team. That way I studied some film. Yes. But it's still Kyle's offense. He's drawing up the plays and things like that. And that's always been the case.
I do think Mike was a great contributor to that process because, otherwise I don't think he would have been tapped for a head coach job if he didn't have really great, valuable
most definitely
there. But I think it's the nature of the game. You're going to have to move on and you're going to evolve from those coaches for sure.
Right.
I don't think that we miss him. Mm-hmm. I just think from what he's doing in Miami, they were down against the Ravens. Yeah, they came back to win. Mm-hmm. When they played the Bills, half of the Bills team is hurt, just like, we've caught the injury bug in the past. And hopefully we do not do that this time around. Although we do have, key injuries.
We have
Yeah,
a few
knock on
already.
wood,
Yeah.
seriously.
Right.
But I don't think we miss him. I mean, that's saying everybody's, replaceable, but he just, I don't know. I mean, like Ty said, it is Kyle Shanahan's offense. He's one of the best coaches in the league. He's up there with, Andy Reid. People could have said the same thing last year, like, oh, do we miss Robert Saleh? And I would have said no.
Yeah.
Because
yeah. Well, I actually think the answer is always yes for a little while, because you get used to a process and you get used to having that familiarity that initially, I think you do miss the cohesiveness and whatever synergies you have. It doesn't mean there aren't quality people like D'Amico Ryans who can step in and go, okay, well, we'll move on, and we'll manage to fill that gap with quality, that we can continue on forward. But I always feel like when somebody leaves that was a valuable contributor, you're gonna miss that for a little bit until you get used to whatever's next. So you might have some, I don't know, disruption in the continuity of the value in the play, but you will move on. It's always an evolving process. Just look at the league. People go everywhere now, so you can't get used to.
I just think with the defense, there was more continuity there. When Robert Saleh left and D'Amico Ryans taken over, like we didn't really have to worry about like, oh, they're struggling. I think we've had the offensive struggles last year. We still have them this year, but I think it's mainly because of the quarterback situation. I mean, Trey Lance, okay, he played in week 1. I mean, week 2, the home opener, I mean, he got hurt quickly, unfortunately. I mean, that really sucked. But and now when Jimmy took over, everyone was like, oh my God, this is great, and last week, I don't need to say it because we talked about it. So I think the offense, I mean, people are, again, like, just like the Jimmy, like, I like Jimmy, I like Trey Lance. It's, do we miss Mike McDaniel? I don't know.
There's always going to be second guessing and shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Exactly.
But, these things are done and over with. You can't have Mike McDaniel back or anybody else. You have to look at what you have and make the best of it. So if you're not looking forward and looking at what potential and where we can go from here, then you're just, it's all speculation and just talk. It's hyperbole. Like, why waste your time and energy missing Mike McDaniel when it's not going to do you any good?
Yeah. And Jess, you bring up a great point, which I think nobody's thinking about, the continuity of the offense. When you talk about that transition from Saleh to Ryans didn't have to rebuild his defensive line, right?
Right. It's like they didn't even miss a beat.
Yeah,
right.
He didn't have to get a new middle linebacker to quarterback the defense.
Right.
That stuff is there. Coming into the season, forget Mike McDaniels. What was the 2 biggest questions, concerns regarding the 49ers? The offensive line and the play of the quarterback. It seems like everybody forgot that. How is this offensive line going to hold up? Will they have continuity inside? Will McGlinchey hold up? That was a big concern. It's still a concern. How is the quarterback going to play? We lost our starter. Our backup is there. That question is still a concern. It's still there. And everyone seems to forget that. These are the things we were questioning when the season started. So the book is still out on that.
No, you're right.
Now with our future guy injured, the play we saw from Jimmy last week is what I would equate to what we would have expected to see from Trey Lance. If we saw a performance